sitting here and pretending like I was knitting and like not filming a video, but then being like, oh hey, made me think of Pride and Prejudice when Mr. Darcy and Mr. Bingley show up and Mrs. Bennet tells all the girls to like, I don't know, look natural, and they're like all running around hiding all the ribbons and pretending they're all reading. That's what this kind of reminded me of for a second. If you don't know, I'm a huge Pride and Prejudice fan. I know that is really, really lame and basic, but I love the book, and I love, is it 2004 movie? I think it's 2004. Hello and welcome to Knit Cheek. My name is Natalie and I am the cheek behind Knit Cheek, and today I am doing a knit and chat. So get your stuff, like get your knitting and your drinks, and sit down and, oh God. It's just going to be me rambling and knitting, which sounds great for me. It's been a week, like most weeks, you know, the week has been weekly. This Monday, I cast on the mini mock neck tank, which I'm not going to talk too much about or show you because I'm actually filming an entire project vlog from start to finish. And I started that on Monday, and I was like, yeah, so that's going to be my video this week. And I don't know where my head was at because there was no way I was going to finish it before Friday to edit and be able to post on the weekend. So I was like, oh no, I need to film the video. I mean, I don't need to film. I don't have to film the video, but I wanted to. And I felt like I'm about to go to Greece for 2 weeks, so I'm going to have to take a couple of weekends off from posting. So I didn't want to skip this weekend. And I had filmed one other knit and chat before, and it was fun, and some people liked it, so I thought I would just do that again. So that's what this is. I am just going to ramble. I have a notes app. I have lots of notes apps. I'm always referring to the notes apps on my phone. But I have a note app called a knit and chat, and anytime I think of a topic that I'm like, oh, I want to talk about that, I add it to that. So that's here on my iPad, and I will bust that out when there's a lull in the conversation here. My one-way conversation to the abyss of the other side of my living room. So to get started, I mean, I don't know. I'm just going to throw my darts in a hat. Is that even a saying? On the subject of posting regularly. So I am in a headspace that I'm like, yeah, I can do it once a week. This is working. It takes me about 6 hours to edit a 45 to 1 hour video, to edit, make a thumbnail, and like write the description. And it doesn't take me too long to film. I mean, obviously it takes however long the video is, plus maybe the 10 minutes of me saying so and that I that I edit out of it. But yeah, one video a week has been working for me. I mean, until I run out of ideas or stuff to talk about. I could have filmed a regular podcast episode this week, but I kind of don't have much to talk about if I'm not talking about the mini mock neck tank. And I do. I have another cast on that I haven't talked about as well. And then I have cast on, which hopefully I'll cast on next week, which is the Cuff Club socks for the month of August. So, I mean, I could have done another video, but I like the idea of a knit and chat because my brain is all over the place because I'm going to Greece in 8 days, and I already went to Europe once this year, and my brain capacity just is not there. So I thought a knit and chat would be perfect. The project vlog is perfect because I want to make this for Greece. It's keeping me motivated, and it's kind of a low stakes video, you know, like it's very vloggy. It doesn't require a lot of brain power, a lot of prepping. So the only thing is that sometimes I want to film and Mr. Cheek is home, and I just can't do it. It's so weird because I have no issue if he watches these videos, but God forbid that he's sitting next to me on the couch while I'm like talking to my phone and filming these videos. So I don't know. I don't know where the logic of that comes with filming in public. Also, like, I'm putting these online for anybody to watch. But if someone walks by my house watching me film this, it's embarrassing. I don't understand the logic of that. I roller skate, and I used to kind of film myself roller skating for like progress purposes and to post on Instagram. I have an Instagram called Skate Cheek, and I really wanted to make friends that skated, and I failed, but I started skating in 2020, and I love it. I love skating, but it's been a slow year for skating. It's been so hot, but before then, I don't know what my excuse was. It's just I really want to get back into it, but I guess I go through seasons of my life, and right now my season of life is crafting. But I do really value exercise and enjoyment of exercise. I do actually. So I made the skate sheet to make more friends, but I do have a friend that skates, and her and I got really close from skating and rescuing animals. So um, hopefully her and I can start skating again because it is cooling down here. But we used to skate when the sun would set so low, and it was so nice or so late because we would skate at 8, skate at 7 p.m. and it was like really out of the way of our days. But I have been prioritizing going to the gym. I am still getting exercise, but I would really like to make space for skating in my life again. Where was I? It's fine. That's what this video is all about. Come ramble with me. I think I was talking about how I want to post every week here on YouTube, but I don't want to force it, and I never want to come on here and not, or film if I don't feel like filming. Like, that just sounds horrible, and this is not a job for me. This is not, I mean, I'm almost to the monetization. I mean, I applied, and I have the watch time hours, so I'm just waiting, but I mean, from what I understand, it's the amount of money that you make. I mean, it's not life changing unless I went like viral or something, but could you imagine me going viral? Woman knits in her living room, talks about nothing. But it would be nice, to have some type of monetary benefit from the hours that go into these videos. But what I'm saying is I don't want to force them. I don't want to sit down here and force myself to film something if I don't want to. And I don't want to put the pressure on me, which I have before, where I'm like editing like really late at night because I really want to post it Saturday morning, which might be the case tonight. But I'm going to be lenient with myself. I can always post it Sunday. I've done that before. It's like no big deal. But if I'm talking too fast, I'm sorry. Although I have made a friend in person who is local to me, and she was telling me that she likes YouTubers who talk fast. Like, she doesn't really like the ones that talk too slow. So I was recommending her like all the ones that talk fast. Yeah, I mean, I follow lots of knitting YouTube. If you have a knitting YouTube, I will follow you. I don't know if I'll watch your content, because I can only watch so much of it, but I have like a watch later tab on my YouTube of all the people that I like and that I want to keep up with their YouTubes. And then I have like a new podcaster to check out. I'll subscribe to anybody, but I'll like put your video or their video in this kind of like a watch later new podcast videos to watch for me. And that's how I sometimes discover new favorite podcasters. I would like to keep posting every week. But that being said, I'm going to post this weekend, obviously. Hi, I'm here. Next weekend, I'll post a vlog, a project vlog of the mini mock neck tank, unless it goes horribly south. I mean, I don't know what could happen, but I already like the fit of it the way that it is now, so I can't imagine that happening. But we'll see. I don't know. Maybe I'll have a mental breakdown and not be able to finish it from the monotony. I don't mind the monotony of stockinette, but I do really like cables. I mean, I've only knit a few cable projects, but I like texture. Where was I going? I was on a topic. What was I talking about? I need like a whiteboard. Well, so I am going on vacation for Greece. So you'll get one more video after this, the project vlog, and then I will skip 2 weekends of knitting podcasts or videos. And then probably the weekend after that, so the last weekend of September, I will post just like a regular podcast episode, update you on my Greece trip, update you on my projects, and that'll be September. Speaking of Greece, I am going to Greece for 2 weeks with my mom. Why am I going to Europe again? You may be asking, and I ask myself that pretty frequently. I do have a bit of vacation fatigue. If you're new to this channel, I went to Italy for 2 months this year, which was one of the coolest experiences ever. It was so fun. I would not have traded that for anything. It was a once in a lifetime opportunity, and I had the time of my life. But I just got back in, what was it, April? And then we also went to Illinois to visit my family for 10 days. And now I'm going to Greece for 2 weeks. And then I have a trip up to Lake Tahoe for a wedding in October. I mean, I'm not tired of vacationing, traveling, but I don't know, going to Europe is, and again, I feel like has kind of been a little bit stressful. Like making sure everything's ready, making sure the trip is planned out because I'm going to be in a different country. Going to my grandparents in Illinois was a lot less stressful because I have everything I need there. I've been there every year of my life since I was a child. So I am also a pretty nervous flyer. I have really bad flight phobia, which I have overcome, kind of. I mean, I'm getting on planes. I went 10 years without flying, and that is kind of the reason why I went to Europe twice this week. So I went 10 years without flying, and then last year the opportunity to go on a trip to Hawaii with my Joey's family, Mr. Cheek's family, and I really wanted to go, and I wasn't going to let my fear stop me. So I started seeing a therapist and worked with them to get over my fear of flying, and I dropped a stitch. I never drop stitches, but I also never really filmed knit and chats, so okay, I'm checking to see if I dropped any other ones. It was just that one. So I went on my first flight 2023 to Hawaii after 10 years of not flying. The last time I had flown, I was in my early 20s, and I had gone to France for 2 months. Yeah. I let the fear get the better of me, and I stopped flying. I am now able to fly, but I am definitely a nervous flyer, and you know, the news is never, it never stops when it comes to planes, so that doesn't help. All right, the stitch has been fixed. And so there's an added level of stress to my life right now, knowing that I'm going to get on a plane for 13 hours to go back to Europe. That's the first flight, and then I have to make a connecting flight for another hour and a half. It's a long travel day, and yeah, I mean, I'm not like worried about the flight now, but I know I will be. Like the day out, I'll get nervous, and I'll be fine. I have coping mechanisms. Knitting on the plane definitely really helps. Knitting and listening to a podcast so I can just like shut everything out. That's what I'm going to do. So when I was talking to my mom after I had gotten over my fear of flying, I said we should take a trip together and to like celebrate. And she was down. She's like, where do you want to go? And I said, Greece. I want to go to Greece with my mom. Where did I come up with that idea? I don't really know. Maybe Mama Mia, but I don't know. So she agreed. She had later told me like she did not have Greece on her like list of places that she wanted to go, but after looking into it, was excited about it. We had briefly changed our minds because I had gotten back from Italy and I was like, I'm tired. That trip was exhausting. It was so much fun, but it was exhausting because I was there from 2 months and we drove all around Italy. So from like Lake Como to Sicily, we drove and saw so much, but it was a lot and a lot of planning. And I was like, I don't want to plan another trip where we're moving around a bunch, which is Greece essentially because there's islands in Greece. There's a lot of lawn mowing going on outside. That's probably the worst time to film too. It's Friday at like 4. I live on a really busy street, so hopefully this microphone does me good. We had thought about going to Spain, and no joke, the weekend that I was going to book our Spain tickets, the protest for tourism happened in Mallorca, which was like my main reason for wanting to go to Spain was to see that island. And the Barcelona protest had already happened, which made us hesitant. And we were like, I don't know, should we go? We thought, well, we're only going to go to Barcelona for a few days. And I really wanted to go to Barcelona to pick up some retrosaria yarn. I know it's a Portuguese yarn, but they have it in some shops in Barcelona. So when they had the protests in Mallorca, I talked to my mom and I was like, I don't really want to go somewhere where people don't want tourism. Which, I mean, you could get into a whole debate about all of that, and I have no qualms. Like, that's fine. I understand like where they're coming from, but it just doesn't sound like, you know, if they're having active protests, like I don't want to go. I don't want to be part of the problem. I don't want to be part of like whether you agree it's a problem or not. Like it didn't feel welcoming. And I'm sure there are Greek islands that don't want tourists either. And everywhere you go, they don't want tourists. I mean, even in the mountain towns that I frequent here in Southern California, when we go up to stay at our vacation home, and that sounds way fancier than it is, by the way. It's not that fancy. It's like a little cabin 30 minutes from here, and the locals get kind of like, not anti-touristy, but they don't like when it snows because it's so close to the valley that people will drive up there and park and play in the snow, and they end up in people's yards and people get irritated. So I see it everywhere, and I understand, but it swayed our opinion to go to Greece, which was our original plan. So we decided to go to Greece, and we are going to Milos and Paros and Athens, because I could not for the life of me find a flight at any other airports besides Athens. And there is not a direct flight from LAX to Athens, so I am not taking a direct flight. Speaking of flights, I have been like on a hole of like flight points on Instagram. You know, like the random, like you'll fall into a hole and then the algorithm is like, would you like some more? And I'm like, I would like some more. So you just consume that content until the algorithm is like, well, she likes flight points. I like the idea of it, and I'm like, oh, I should get into this, because one of my goals, like not really goals, but like it would be so cool to fly first class at least once in your life, you know. And I'm not the type of person who's going to drop that money on that. It'd be one thing if it was like a couple $100s more, but when it's like 4 times the flight, the ticket, then it's not going to happen. But there's all these hacks on Instagram about flight points and like how to do that. And so yeah, I've been like down that rabbit hole of flight points, but I don't really understand it. Like it's too smart for me, but I want to understand it. So it's kind of like on my back burner. I've got a bunch of tabs open on my phone and like how to learn how to do that. I have heard that it's really not worth trying to do if you're not somebody who like pays your credit cards off 100% every month. Like you use your credit cards, but then you pay them. Is if you're paying interest, then what is the point of like trying to accumulate points and do that? And I am not at that point in my life where I can just pay my credit cards off every month, unfortunately. I mean, I'm not like in a deep hole or anything. Like we're fine financially, but we definitely have a little bit of credit card debt. So it happens, you know. I can't seem to pay them off. When I do pay them off, there's always something else in the business that we're in, which is like renovating old houses and stuff. So maybe one day I will get into that field. There's somebody walking by my house, and she is so cool. Should I melt? Should I melt out of the chair? Oh my god. Where did she come from? Okay, she didn't see me. I don't know, she had like the coolest hat. Like she looked like we would be friends. She looks like I would be desperate to be her friend. I guess at this point I'm going to look at my notes, even though I've already been rambling on for 22 minutes without even looking. But I know I already touched some of the subjects that I put on here because I knew that I wanted to talk about them. I just really like knit and chats. They're so chill. And like, I always think they would be harder to transition into like what I'm going to talk about, but they're really not, because I'm here for it. Oh, I was going to talk about this filming location, how I loved sitting in this chair and being raised up a bit, because there's always crap here, because my front door is right there, so we always have stuff here that needs to go. We need to take somewhere, take to the post office, take to one of the houses that we work on. It needs to go in the car, whatever. So I liked it here, but I realize you can still see down there. But I still like this framing better. Oh, yeah. So just talking about my upcoming vacations, getting over my fear of flying, Spain versus Greece, trying to pick Greek islands. I don't know if you know this, but there's like, I forget how many, but there's so many Greek islands to pick. And I really didn't want to pick like the most touristy ones like Santorini and Mykonos. Not that there's anything wrong with those, but I was looking for like a more relaxed, laid back island. And my mom liked the idea of Milos because I actually don't know where she came up with the idea. She picked that one, and then I picked Paros. We were going to try to do a third island, but we decided that we wanted to have more of a restful vacation than try to like hop around. That is what we're going to do. If you have any Greek island recommendations, please tell me, because after researching Greece, I throw myself into my research for traveling. I say that like I do a lot of traveling. It's been a long time. The last place I went was France. And that was in like 2013. I went to France for 2 months and I was in Paris almost the entire time. I think we went to Italy for 2 weeks or a week. We went to Italy for a week and then I took the train to the south of France to meet up with Mr. Cheek because he was working on farms and I working on farms, volunteering on farms, and I was in a language program to try to learn French. So I spent the majority of my time in Paris and would meet up with Mr. Cheek on the weekends. And we saw a couple of places, Montpellier in the south, and then I saw the Mediterranean Sea. But mostly I was in Paris for 2 months, which is crazy to me to think that I was in France. And there's so many beautiful places to see in France, and I spent the entire time in Paris, which was a really cool experience. Like, I really loved it. I loved getting familiar with the subway and getting familiar with the city. My cat is growing up right in front of me, and I can't do anything about it. You good? Anyways, I loved Paris. I want to go back for sure. I also have family outside of Paris, my Peruvian family. My mom is Peruvian. She was born in Lima, Peru. Her family is all over the place. So we stayed with them in Florence, Italy, and then I've also stayed with them in Paris. Different family members, but same family. Where was I going with this? I was talking about going to France. Oh, I throw myself into my research for traveling. So when we went to Italy, I mean, I spent so much time doing research on Italy and traveling, and I know Italy pretty well now. Like, not obviously not Italian, but I know like city names, the climates, the terrain. I mean, if you need any advice on going to Italy, you can definitely hit your girl up on Instagram. DM me. My name is Knitcheek on Instagram. So I did the same thing with Greece and realized that Greece is so vast. And even if I went for 2 months, it would be hard to see. It's not like Italy where we could see as much as we saw, just because you can't. There's just so much because of all the islands. So I definitely want to go back. And I've already got some other islands on my mind, but I thought for this one we would do the cyclical islands because that's kind of like, I don't know, the easiest to island hop. So we'll do the 2 islands and then Athens. I'm very excited. I know I keep talking about how stressed out I am about going to Europe, which I am, but I'm also really, really excited. It feels like the last hurrah for summer for me. We actually get back September 21st, and I have not fact checked this, and I've already said this already, but I believe that's the first day of fall. I'm itching for fall. I definitely am. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it in the air. I'm feeling it. It's like it's calling to me. I feel the feels. I want the vibes. I feel so lame saying that. I feel like the internet freaks out about fall like a little too hard. Can we agree it's the best season though? Because there's no other season that the girlies be freaking out like this about. Like, everyone online is freaking out. The stores are freaking out. You could say Christmas, I guess, that people go this hard, but it's maybe because fall becomes before Christmas, and Christmas is more of like a date than a whole season. Like, no one's freaking out about winter. No one's excited about winter. No one's excited for February. I know I live in Southern California, so it's not as bad. Like, honestly, we have great winters, but you know what I'm saying? Like, no one is freaking out about February. Everyone freaks out about fall. Everywhere you go, like pumpkin spice lattes, all the things. And so, like, I don't know, I feel like basic or like really lame, being like, oh, I'm so ready for fall. It's coming. But I am. And I don't know, I feel like even Mr. Cheek loves the fall and gets excited about the fall. He may not emote it like, I don't know. I want to say it's mostly women who are online geeking out about fall and like pushing the date of fall. Like, it gets sooner and sooner. And it's just funny to watch like people protest that. Like, people get really angry about seasonal stuff at Home Depot on the wrong time. Like, it's too early, which I get that. Like, it's ridiculous when there's Halloween stuff already at Michael's. Like, it's probably too late for Halloween stuff at Michael's already. Like, you have to kind of shop for those seasons ahead of time. So I get both sides of it. I am super excited for fall. I am ready, but at the same time, it's warm in Southern California, and I think a lot of other places in the United States, unless you're like Upper East Coast, it's warm. So like, we can't fake fall. We can't can't be wearing flannels outside right now. I'm saying that wearing a light cotton weight cardigan that I love and I wear all the time. But I am ready, but I'm going to embrace the rest of summer, and Greece is very much helping that because obviously it is still going to be warm in Greece, and it's a summer vacation for me. And I am knitting this last summer top. It's not my last summer top because I still have the camisole number 4 that I started that I haven't really talked about, but I started it. And I put that on hold to work on this. But this feels like my last summer top. I feel like the camisole number 4 would kind of be a good transition piece because it's a nice color for fall. Whereas this is a summer top. I'm just trying to like milk a little bit more summer, even though I'm ready for fall. I'm also thinking about watching Gilmore Girls for the first time. The knitting community got me to watch, what is the name of that show? Butler, Downton Abbey. Okay. Wow, I could not remember the name of that show. I think because Bob's Burgers makes fun of it and they call it something Manor. It's a really funny episode of Bob's Burgers. Anyways, the knitting community made me watch Downton Abbey. And I like Downton Abbey a lot. I mean, I don't know if I would rewatch Downton Abbey, but I liked it. I liked the feels. I like anything that's a period piece. Pride and Prejudice, obviously. I like that show, and I feel like the knitting community is pushing Gilmore Girls on me. So I am maybe ready to try it. I don't like a lot of sitcom-y shows. Like I'm not into Friends. I'm sorry. Or Big Bang Theory, or like shows where there's like a laugh tape. I can't do. Can't do 2.5 Men. Oh my god, that show. That show hurts my brain. I do like Seinfeld though. I don't know what it is about Seinfeld that doesn't, even though it very much is in that category, I don't. It's just maybe because it's a classic and I grew up my dad watching it. And I like The Office, which I don't think that has a laugh track on it. Parks and Rec, but I don't watch a lot of shows like Gilmore Girls. So I don't know. I've always been hesitant to watch it, but I think this might be the year. I'm gonna try. It just feels like a little fall treat, a whole new show that I've never seen that tons of people like. I'm just going to take the knitting community's word for it. I mean, I like Downton Abbey, so here we go. Gilmore Girls is next. I think that's enough chatting about fall for a video. I brought this because I wanted to show this, and it's ridiculous. But when we were in Italy, we were there for 2 months, and we spent a lot of money at the pharmacy. I am somebody who doesn't like to take any medication usually. Your body is naturally healing itself all the time, so I don't do a lot of pills except for when I need an Advil once a month. But I even try not to do that. I really just don't like taking medication. Not that there's anything wrong with it. I just personally don't like doing it. But when you're on vacation in a different country and you need something, you have to go to the pharmacy, and now you need Benadryl, and you find out that Italy does not have Benadryl, and all you want to do is take some sleepy time and not be itchy because you just got stung by a million jellyfish larvae. Yeah, I got sea bathers rash in Italy, and it was horrible. It was horrible a couple of days there, but we ended up going to the pharmacy, spending loads of money on allergy pills and creams, and it's not the only thing we ended up going to the pharmacy for. I feel like between the 3 of us, there was just things were spent and things were bought. So I thought before I go to Greece, I'm only going to Greece for 2 weeks, but I thought I would get this ridiculous, hide my face, pill case. I got this on Amazon. I saw it on Instagram, and it came with these stickers, and they're like brand name stickers, but they're not. Like you can tell what they're supposed to be, but they're real generic. Like it says motion sickness, less drowsy, but it's obviously like the branding for Dramamine. So I had too much fun with this, and I raided our pharmacy, my mom's pharmacy, or her first aid box, first aid kit, and Joey's mom's, and just like came up with pills that I thought I might need while abroad. So I thought this was really funny and cute, and you can find it really easy on Amazon. Just Google like pill case. I can link this exact one if you want. So I remember wanting to get one and they stopped making it. I wonder if they got in trouble for the branding, or maybe they just sold out because of Instagram. So that's my cute little pill case that I just had here because I knew I was going to want to show you and talk about it. Okay, so that is a great pivoting point here. Well, so I bought that pill case because Instagram, right? And I've been rambling for 37 minutes. Maybe I should stop. I don't know. I think I have an Instagram like addiction. But I don't know. I feel like most people do, like some type of social media addiction, which I feel less bad about it because I feel like so many other people are in the same boat. And I mean, I don't feel like there's something wrong with me. These platforms are made to be addicting. I don't know. I struggle with it. I like I just find myself there all the time. I don't know. I feel like some of the stuff just takes up room in your brain. And anyways, I try to keep myself off of Instagram, but it's not easy. I love Instagram, by the way. I love it as a tool. I use it for more than just scrolling, like if I need to know someone's business hours, that's the place you go because that's going to be the most accurate in my opinion. It can be difficult. You go to look something up and then 30 minutes later someone's walking by the window. 30 minutes later you're still scrolling. So I'm trying to think of new ways to like get myself off of my phone all the time. I want to be one of those people who, when your friends talk about you, they're like, oh yeah, she never answers her phone. Like, I want to be that person because I don't want to be dependent on it all the time. So I try to leave it at home whenever I can, like if I'm going to go for a walk but if I know it's not something that I'm going to need, I try to leave it at home. I try to leave it in my bag if I'm at a restaurant. It's a really good coping mechanism for anxiety, and I do get restaurant anxiety. So it's like, I don't know, your phone is there to help you. Like it wants you to scroll. And I guess I'm trying my best here. I did download one of those phone blocker apps. So I saw like an ad. I think actually I saw the ad on Facebook for like the Brick app, which is a device that you buy, and it's like a little plastic. I think it's plastic. It's 3D printed device, and it's magnetic. So I think you stick it on your fridge, and it's a blocker app. So you have to scan it to unblock the apps on your phone that you want blocked. So I love that idea. I really want one, but I decided that I was gonna just do the free because I can't remember how much that Brick app. I want to say it was $40 or $50 for the device and then the app forever. Like it's not a monthly subscription or anything, which I think is a good monetary value. But I thought that I would just buy, or not buy, but download the free the app blocker. I can't remember what it's called. What is it called? It's just called BlockSite. And so that's what I've been using. But it's a free app, but they want you to like buy the premium thing, so you're kind of like limited into what you can do with the app. Like you can't block a single app differently than the rest of them. You can only block like one group. So I block Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube, which is unfortunate because I actually really I like to watch YouTube videos, but the reason I do that is so that if I'm gonna watch a YouTube video, I just watch it on my TV instead of watching it on my phone because my phone is dangerous. You pull up the YouTube app and then you're scrolling through YouTube Shorts. As somebody who makes YouTube Shorts, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just when you're somebody who cannot be trusted, then you have to kind of discipline yourself, you know? So these are just my struggles. And like I said, it makes me feel better that I know other people out there are also struggling with their screen time. And it's not my fault. It's, this content is made to hold your attention and make you want more immediate dopamine from a 30-second hilarious video, and you're like, more. I'm just trying to limit my time of when I'm allowed to go on these apps, and I think that it's going well. Sometimes I don't use the blocker at all because I'm not really using my phone, but sometimes if I catch myself like, oh my god, I'm on Instagram again already, it's only like 11 o'clock in the morning, like I'll put the blocker on. Or if I need to get something done and I find myself wanting to procrastinate and distract myself with some type of social media. For me, my vice is Instagram for sure. Instagram knows me. The algorithm knows what I like. They know what I want to buy. They know it. Like they know me like the back of their hand. TikTok to me is not very, it's enjoyable, but it doesn't lock me in like that does. And neither does Facebook. I use Facebook for Facebook Marketplace because I sell things, buy things, sell things. I hate that it's in the same app as Facebook because I don't want to open Facebook because then I get distracted. But it doesn't hold my attention like Instagram does. Instagram is the only app that I can really like waste time on. Waste way too much time on. That was my ramble about social media. Please do not feel guilty or like apologetic if you are a social media consumer. Like obviously that's what it's there for. I'm just talking about my own, mental well-being and my happiness. And I know that I just feel better when I'm on it less. And it's like weird. It's like I don't understand why it causes anxiety, but I know it does. Like I don't know if it's the comparisons or like the just in general not feeling like you're enough or something. I don't know. Anyways, you know what I really should talk about instead of rambling on about my woes about Instagram is the books that I've been reading, because in my last podcast episode, I got a little slouchy there. I hope that the sound quality and your visuals was good. I was really relaxing. But I was going to talk about the books that I've been reading, because in my last podcast episode, I had so much to talk about with the fiber mill that I visited and my trip to Illinois, and like how it randomly became a really yarny trip. I got two sweater quantities worth of yarn in Northern Illinois. I forgot to talk about the books that I read since the last time I talked about the books that I read, which was my last podcast episode. So let me look at my Goodreads. I really know recently I read Joe Nuthen's Guide to Life, and that book was incredible. I think I listened to that audiobook in 2 days. Joe Nuthen's Guide to Life, yeah, by Helen Fisher. And it's just a beautiful, heartwarming story about a kid with OCD, and I believe he's on the spectrum, though it doesn't really like specifically say that. And I'm really bad at book reviews. Like I'm not a book reviewer, but I would recommend that book to anybody. It's really good if you're looking for something to read. And then the second book that I would recommend to anybody who likes thriller/murder mysteries is Listen for the Lie. That was a really, really good book. I listened to that one too. I listened to a lot of these. I listened to Stone Blind by Natalie Haynes, and I also listened to that one really fast. I can get through an audiobook pretty quickly. My mom owns an Airbnb, and I clean and help her run it. And while I'm cleaning, usually it's just me, and so I like to listen to an audiobook, and I can get a pretty good amount in there. So I listened to Stone Blind by Natalie Haynes, and that one was good. Like I listened to it so fast because I was very engaged into it, and I like some Greek mythology retellings, and I was trying to read some Greek books. Like Circe was really good, but some other ones I didn't like as much. So I don't know. I don't really have much to say about that one, but I did like it. But it doesn't really follow. I think a lot of people had a problem because they thought it was going to be more of a Medusa story, which it is. But it kind of jumps around with other characters as well. The next one is Long Bright River by Liz Moore, and that was a book that I forgot to read for book club, and then I ran into the friend of mine that runs book club at the farmer's market, and she was like, yeah, well, I'll see you tomorrow. And I was like, what do you mean you're going to see me tomorrow? And it was like, book club. And I'm like, what were we reading for book club? It's like Long Bright River. And I'm like, I did not read Long Bright River. And I have never not read a book for book club, except for one, but I didn't go to that book club meeting. So I brought it upon myself to listen to an entire audiobook in one day. And I believe it was 13 hours, which I did listen to it on like, I think 1.75 speed. And then towards the end, I was like really, really cranking up that volume. Or that speed. And it was a good book. That is the author by Liz Moore, who also wrote another book that I'm reading called The God of the Woods, which is really good. I think I rated this one 3.5. It was super enjoyable, super engaging. Obviously, I listened to it in one day. I thought it was I don't know, I want to say anticlimactic. I felt like it was less of a murder mystery than like a family mystery. I don't know, but I still really enjoyed it. Like I said, I'm really not great at book reviews, so I'm like, yeah, it was pretty good. And then I listened to The Mystery of Time by Kayleen Bradley. That was just okay. I actually really like anything to do with time travel, Groundhog Day, that type of book. I am all about it. So obviously, when I saw that one, I wanted to read it, but I would give that one a meh. I'm sorry. And then I am currently listening to Funny Story by Emily Henry, who is a romance novelist. And I mean, she's got a lot of good ones. Book Lovers I really liked, and Beach Read were my favorite ones. I tried to read another one by her and I wasn't able to get through it. It was like a little bit too cheesy. But Funny Story, I think so far is my favorite Emily Henry book. But I'm not finished, so it could go south real fast. I don't know where I am in that book. I want to say I'm at least halfway, and I just started it Wednesday. Hey, don't be rubbing up on the tripod. You're going to move my camera. I think I started it Wednesday, and I'm halfway through it. And it's due back to the library in 2 days, so I need to listen to the rest of that. So, that being said, I like to read a lot of books. I'm having a hard time getting through physical books. I read a lot of audiobooks. I used to do about 50-50, but these days it's looking like 80-20. But I've been having a hard time getting through The God of the Woods. Number one, because it's so long, but I'm also just knitting so much that physical book reading is just harder for me to get time to do, because whenever I'm stagnant, I want to be knitting, and I can knit and listen to an audiobook at the same time. So that's usually my preferred go-to. But I would really need to carve out some time for my physical books as well, because it's getting cool. And one of my favorite things to do is ride my bike to the library. We have a really cute library, and get library books. So I need to make sure I give myself time to read physical books as well. I do read them at night, like right before I go to bed, but I can usually only get 10 pages in before I'm snoozing. So that being said, let's wrap it up. Thank you so much for tuning into this really rambly, really long knit and chat. I had originally thought, okay, I'll just sit down for 30 minutes, and I never thought I was stretching it. I just kept going. Hopefully I can edit this down a little bit. But if you're still here, thank you so much for watching. I am Knit Cheek on Instagram if you want to be friends. And like this video, if you want to, I don't know. And subscribe if you want to keep watching more. I will definitely post one next week, and then I'm going to go on vacation, and I will be back the last week of September. So, bye!